Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the British Sea Vixen, sitting at 8.3 battle rating. What a big girl she is. Gotta love big girls. She has a fat ass though. I mean, you get hit easily if you're not careful. But in this plane it's all about positioning, and it is less about dogfighting, because if you get in a dogfight you do not have any weapons, and it's difficult to shoot off the missiles when you have when you're pulling Gs. Of course, we know these red tops that you have on this baby, they can only fire below 4 Gs when it comes to what you pull. So yeah, you got to be in a reasonable stable position to launch those missiles. I had some issues with that here and there, but yeah, you also have fire streaks. You start with fire streaks missiles. They are a little bit less good than the red tops, which have a 2.5 Mach and a 16 G is what they pull, which is all right. It's all right, and they can be shot from rear aspect at around 6 kilometers, which is also all right. But you got to be a little bit closer usually to get them to hit. But good missiles. You do not have a gun though. You do not have any offensive gun. So once you're out of missiles, you're done. And in dogfights, of course, you basically need the gun to, you know, profit from an overshoot if you're pulling Gs. Because the missiles won't fire when you're pulling those heavy Gs. Well, in the speed department, at least, this plane is very nice. At sea level, she pulls 1116 kilometers an hour. At 4500 meters, she can go up to 863. And at 6500 meters, this is 762. These speeds are good at 8.3. She is a fast plane, and she also holds that speed very nicely. So that is nice. The speeds are in indicated airspeed, by the way. Top speed in a dive is 1136 kilometers an hour, and then for the red line at 1220 plus before she rips apart. I've been diving with this thing from 7k, 8k, 9k. I cannot get this thing to rip. 1220 is what you usually reach, and then you splash into the ground or into the sea. So very difficult to rip this thing, although she shakes a lot. Starting from 1100 or something, she starts shaking, but that doesn't mean she's gonna rip. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Don't be afraid of a little bit of shaking. The control stiffening is only coming in very late in this plane, which is nice. The handling in the dive is there. She starts at 900 with a little bit of roll rate compression, and then second tick at 1100, which is already very close to the red line. So that dive speed is nice. The handling in the dive is nice, and she's difficult to rip. So that is very good when you're making your approaches on people to shoot off those missiles. Stall speed lies around 155 kilometers an hour. Although basically you don't really want stall maneuvers in this plane, right? You don't want dog fighting. You don't want that kind of stuff, because you have missiles. So you want to be boom and zooming, boom and running, shooting off missile, making missile approaches, and getting those missiles into the air, and making good. Don't just waste them, because they're all you have. So be careful with them. Make good approaches, and make them count. The firepower, I would say, is good. Those 4 red tops are nice. Good missiles at 8.3, and yeah, so nothing to complain there. Ammo load is what is it? Average, decent. 4 missiles is decent to good, I would say. Some planes have 2, some planes have 4. So yeah, that varies. It's all right. And the nice thing in this plane is in the performance. You have 2 engines with quite a bit of thrust. Acceleration in a straight line is excellent. In a dive, it's excellent. You have energy retention in the horizontal, which is great. In the vertical, very good. I mean, she is a big baby, right? So it's a little bit less good in the vertical, but you want to be in the vertical as the least amount as possible, unless you're following somebody to shoot off one of your missiles. And that is good. I mean, that can account for some nice kills there. Climb rate in this thing is excellent. She really wants to get up there, and that you need that as well. You don't want to be in the mix of things. You want to come in, swooping in, shooting off your missiles, and not be the focal point of any attention, not have people coming after you. You don't want that. Although you are fast, not a slow plane, but you basically want to be smart in this plane, position it well, and you know, not get into trouble. And if you can manage that, this thing will produce the results, because as I said, the missiles are nice. The turn time is not really one of its strengths, although it's not bad either. She's a big darling. Turn time is slightly above average, decent with flaps, and the flaps are crap though. So you're basically stuck with above average turn time, with flaps ripping off at 500 kilometers an hour. Now for a jet like this at 8.3, 500 kilometers an hour for the flaps is crap. Really not good, and you rip them off very easily, as the acceleration in this plane is excellent. You're gonna be struggling to keep those flaps on. And yeah, when you rip off the flaps, you also often rip off your elevator as well. So ripping off flaps is a death sentence basically to your match, as you don't want to lose them. That elevator there, you're gonna need it, right? Roll rate in the plane is decent, and I would say overall maneuverability is then also decent. It is very nice in a dive that you keep that decent for very long in the roll rate, because you can get the missile lock, and if somebody doesn't move too much, you might be able to shoot it off. Although the red tops pull 16 Gs, so that might be nice. Here we're pulling too much Gs here for the missiles to shoot, and that happens. Only 4 Gs is what these missiles can pull when you want to shoot them. Overheating is not an issue in this plane. I didn't have any issues at all in my test flights. You can go up into the air, go slow, whatever you do. You very difficult to overheat these engines. I have not had any issues. You barely get into the yellow. I have not seen any amber. So yeah, there is that. Durability is decent. Can take a few hits, but he's a big target, and if somebody really gets a shot on you, you're dead basically. So yeah, you want to stay out of the danger zone, and make sure to keep the plane fast, boom and zoom, boom and run, maybe energy fight a little bit. She can do that, but usually you do that to get a gunshot. With the missile shots, you just need to have a good approach, be in rear aspect of the enemy fighter, and shoot them off at a decent range, making sure that most of the time you're a little bit faster than the plane you're shooting at, so that the missile can actually reach the target relatively quick before the enemy pilot can do something. And if you stick to that simple thing, this plane is awesome, really. Most of my matches were 2-kill matches. I had 2-3 kill matches, but I basically only died twice, and 13 kills, 2 deaths in, what was it, 7 matches or something. So yeah, those results are quite good, and he really performs for you. And I quite like the Sea Vixen, I have to say, despite it not having a forward-facing gun, which was something I was a little bit like, is that gonna be nice? I always like to have my guns, but this one doesn't have them, and I must say I managed to deal with it, just by a little bit more careful approach to your setting up. Your tactical positioning in this plane can help you a lot. Not dying, not having people jump you, and the awesome climb rate really helps you to set that up. Yeah, there is very few planes that can actually climb as well as you can. There's a few planes that get air spawns here and there, and that can actually climb as well, but I didn't have any issues reaching the positions that you want to have in this plane. That is being the top dog up there, and then choosing your engagements, shooting off your missiles when you have a good approach, and just racking in the kills that way. The problem is when you have to maneuver a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of nifty little planes out there that are quite maneuverable, and this plane is not a stiff plane that can't maneuver or something. It maneuvers all right, but she's a big girl, and there's niftier planes out there that can definitely get the guns on this thing. And as you don't have any guns, you can try to force an overshoot, but it's interesting. It's interesting. She does have an air brake, a good thing to have, and it's working. Not like with the Sagittario, which didn't have one, or did have one, but Gaijin managed to break it. They Ninja fixed it in the meantime. Well, not Ninja. They announced it that it was fixed. But this one does have a working air brake, and it's good to have, of course, for the overshoots. But then again, you need a very low very low G's to get those missiles to fire. Now that little cloud there messed up the shot. I couldn't get it to lock earlier, and I was just impatient. I should have made another run on it, even though he would have seen me by then, but should have made another run there to get that missile to hit. Would have had 4 out of 4 then. Would have been nice. Let's see, fire arrows, very nice, 3 times. We've got the best squad, 75,000 Silver Lions and 18,000 research points. And the second place. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are, after the match. Now, first looking at this plane, I was a little bit skeptical. As I thought, well, she's a big lady. And you do not have a forward-facing gun. But I was wrong. My skepticism was undeserved. The Sea Vixen is a fantastic plane with at 8.3 battle rating. She's fast, she dives very well, she has a very late compression on her, so the roll rate that you do have, which is decent, sticks with you until about 1100, which is awesome. You can get the missiles on target and hopefully get them to hit. The missiles are good, the red tops, fire streaks, I haven't tried them out. And she has excellent performance. She has 2 engines that give you good thrust. She has the excellent acceleration. Energy retention is remarkably good for such a big plane. And the climb rate in the plane is also fan-freaking-tastic. So there is a lot to work with. You do not have that forward-facing gun, but that is by no means a restriction on this plane from good performances and steady income, and because you know it is a premium, and she does rack in the cash. I can definitely recommend you this plane. I have bought it on site because I just found it to be such an interesting plane. Always have, and but she's better than I thought. She's gonna net you a lot of Silver Lions research points, and it's definitely a fun plane to fly. So yeah. I hope I gave you a little bit of an impression there, and my recommendation for this plane. She's awesome. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.